Hi, welcome to the Star Wars 20, where we tell you everything you need to know this week about Star Wars in 20 minutes. Click any of these links below and you can go right to that specific segment. This week we're going to talk about Han Solo frontrunners, we're going to talk about Force Friday and what's going to come out, we're going to talk about the Han Solo frontrunner. It's going to be an exciting episode. Stay tuned. Welcome to the Star Wars 20. Alright, Star Wars fans, this week we're going to get right into it with Star Wars news. Apparently J.J. Abrams, out at the Tribeca Film Festival, has maybe let slip a little bit about Rey's parentage. We're going to go out to John and Dave on Tatooine. They're going to tell us all about it. How you guys doing out there?
We're doing fine.
Yeah, a little warm?
A little warm. I'm sweating pretty good here.
Did you guys hear this one? What's the internal temperature of a Tauntaun?
Lukewarm.
Alright, what did you guys hear about the Rey's parentage?
So, if you follow the link below, Nerdist.com was at the Tribeca Film Festival hosted by Chris Rock. There was an audience Q&A with J.J. Abrams, and there was a middle school student named Kyle, and Kyle had the gumption to ask J.J., who are Rey's parents? J.J. immediately replied jokingly, "Get out." Let's take a look at the clip.
Get out. No. Rey's parents are not in episode 7. So I can't possibly, in this moment, tell you who they are, but I will say that it is, this is all I will say, it is something that Rey thinks about too.
Entertainment Weekly caught up with JJ after the Q&A, and what JJ meant to say was that he was that she did not discover her parents in episode 7, but does not mean she did not in her world.
So, Alan, what do you think? Do you think it was an intentional film flub, or do you think J.J. was maybe misdirecting the Star Wars fans?
I think that it was an intentional flub. Sometimes you think things in your head, and it's not always what comes out of your mouth. And I know that Jonathan has experience with that. So, no, I think it was just a mistaken flub. And I think probably as soon as E.T. asked him, he was like, "Is that what I said?" So I think he realized he made the mistake, and it was actually a mistake.
I just think it was just a flub.
I was talking too fast.
Yeah.
Well, it's not the first mistake that's been made in the Star Wars universe, right? I mean, there's the, the prequels. So anyway, speaking of mistakes, there's been all sorts of things going on with C-3PO's arm lately. Have you guys heard about this?
Yes.
Yes, it's kind of surprising how much this is a mistake. You think they would have caught it, but Gizmodo.com reports C-3PO how he got his red arm in The Force Awakens. It was in a Marvel one-shot comic. It's actually already been released April 13th. You can go buy it. It's $5 on Amazon.
And there's also, because C-3PO had his left arm was red in the final scene in the map that you can see right behind us. But then like 2 minutes later, it was fixed and now it's gold as he waves goodbye to Rey, Chewie, and on the Falcon. And so, Alan, what do you think that is? Do you think it's intentional, or do you think it was something else? What's your opinion?
Actual mistake. If you look at the village of people that it took to make The Force Awakens, if you've watched the 15 minutes of constant scrolling at the end of the movie, which you should do purely for John Williams' music, I think it just got missed. I think it was just a mistake. I think it was intentionally that they wanted to bring C-3PO back to the C-3PO that we knew and loved, and probably intended on having a scene somewhere that would explain it, but it just simply got left out in just the mass project that Force Awakens was.
I think it was intentional. I think they did something they just don't want us to know, want it to be a mystery, because I don't know how they could have accidentally put on, they're wrong. One of his only lines was like, "Oh, I have a red arm now." So I don't know how they could have accidentally put a gold arm on him.
I don't know. I'm kind of like, I can see J.J. Abrams kind of slipping something in there like that. J.J. Abrams has been known. He has an affinity for something red. If I remember a previous, another Galaxy Far, Far Away film, there was something discussing about the red matter. So maybe J.J. Abrams has a thing for things that are red.
Talk about that here.
Not to mention the bad robot logo, the robot's red.
Yes.
Could be on to something here, Dave.
So, at InsideTheMagic.net, they actually found a 3PO's arm. Supposedly it's at Star Wars. Yes, the gold one. Sorry, the 3PO's arm was found at Star Wars launch bay at Disney Florida's Hollywood Studios.
So wait, you guys are telling me that 3PO's arm is restored at the end of The Force Awakens, which I didn't even notice, but now it's also in the launch. So now, what?
Maybe it is an accident, because I mean, it's put in launch bay as had to be as a Easter egg or something for people to notice. Like, oh, there's this gold arm, but I don't know on that the decision to put it back on him.
Maybe he's now just in a galaxy near away.
And in other news, we're going to cut out to Jonathan, who's out there on Hoth. He's got the scoop on the first ever composer to be covering a Star Wars movie that's not John Williams. John?
That's right, Alan. Alexandre Desplat. This is a tough name to say. Alexander Desplat.
Desplat?
Desplat.
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 Desplat. Has made 166 credits as a composer, so he's actually done a lot of work. Some of his highlights are The Golden Compass, The King's Speech, Argo, Zero Dark 30, Godzilla, The Imitation Game, and Unbroken. So I'm very excited to see what he's going to do for us in this new Star Wars movie. Alan?
Thanks for that, John. Hope it's you get warm out there. It's hard to go from Tatooine to Hoth that quickly. So that wraps up our news section. We're going to hop right into movies. We're going to cut out to Dave, who's going to tell us about a close personal friend of his that's got some news that we haven't heard since 1977.
So a good friend of mine, Pedro, you may know him as Peter Mayhew, tweeted an original Star Wars script from 1977. There's different changes from the original. We don't have a copy in front of us. Unfortunately, you'll have to go to the site. This just in. The original version had actually one of these excerpts. It's like Ben sees the troops charging towards him and realizes that he is trapped. This is towards the end of the movie when the crew is trying to escape from the Death Star. Vader takes advantage of Ben's momentary distraction and brings his mighty laser sword down on the old man. But Ben manages to deflect the blow, swiftly turning around and cutting a safety lock on the blast door. Vader is standing in the access tunnel while Ben is in the huge hangar, and the heavy blast door slams between them, trapping Vader in the tunnel. So in other words, Ben Kenobi actually survived the lightsaber duel with Darth Vader. The crew escapes. Leia, Han, Luke, and Chewbacca escape. And the first thing that Vader asks one of his officers is, did the tracking beacon, did the homing beacon, was it on the Millennium Falcon? And yes, it was, because they end up finding where the secret rebel base is at. It was on Yavin 4. So that's if you want to check it out. Again, you want to go to the Twitter account for Peter Mayhew at the Wookiee Roars. Again, at the Wookiee Roars. Back to you, Alan.
Good report out there from Kashyyyk, the Chewie planet. It makes sense to give a Chewie story from a Chewie planet. And in other news, exciting, Star Wars will be back in theaters this summer. In fact, this August to be exact. That's right, you're going to be able to see the original three. That's Empire Strikes Back, Return of the Jedi, and A New Hope. Unfortunately, if you want to see Han shoot first, you're going to have to stay at home and watch your VHS, because these are going to be the special editions that are making their rounds in over 20 cities. So now we're going to enter our rumors section. So here we go. We're going to throw it back out to John, who's going to tell us some rumors.
EpicStream.com reports that Alden Ehrenreich has emerged as the frontrunner to the Han Solo Star Wars film is set to release on May 25th, 2018. The movie will be directed by Lego Movies' Chris Miller and Phil Lord. And I'm going to the Cantina because Hoth sucks.
John, you have any Force Friday news?
Yes, I do actually. While still not officially announced, First Fry is expected to return on September 30th, 2016. Figures will be via JediNews.com, Rey BB-8 repack, Kylo Ren with a new mold, Rogue One Jyn Ersa, Rogue One Stormtrooper medical droid, Rogue One SEAL Team male character with Forrest Whitaker's character. Have you heard any news about Disneyland lately?
Yes, sorry. So disneyparks.disney.go.com. They paid for all those dots. Again, it's disneyparks.disney.go.com.
You actually missed 2 dots.
Well, they can afford it. And so, sorry for that. They're going to actually have a 360-degree look at Star Wars-themed land at their website. It's going to be groundbreaking at Disneyland. The park officially started their 14-acre construction site at the Disneyland Park in Southern California. Welcome,
Hey, boys.
John.
How's it going here at the Cantina?
Super Vader
And
dream.
so, yes. And now we're going to
salute to Star Wars.
Yes.
All right.
And may the fan be with you.
Mark Hamill and Daisy Ridley memes.
Oh my gosh, these are fantastic. I love these.
Yes,
The Tauntaun one is one of my favorites.
You made one, didn't you?
Yes, but
did make one.
Yes, but it's on 35mm film. It's not going to be able to be uploaded.
Yeah. The hand splicing.
Yes. So please do not forget to
Subscribe!
Yes.
It keeps us going. We really appreciate it.
So thank you very much.
May the Force be with you.
May the Force be with you.
Hi guys, don't forget to subscribe. Make sure you come back next week. We're going to talk about more Rogue One. We're going to talk about more Force Awakens. We're going to cover some upcoming Battlefront DLC packs that are going to be released later this year and into next year. It's going to be an exciting episode. You're not going to want to miss it. Make sure that you go to Facebook. Make sure that you like us and follow us. Facebook.com/Star Wars 20. That's Star Wars 20. Make sure that you subscribe to us on Twitter, which is Star Wars_20 on Twitter. And thanks for watching. May the Force be with you.